fan views.
Yep, so EFC78JU. I'm gutted with the result. We should have won it by a drop goal, but still, well played wire. We'll take the point at the KCOM Stadium. Fair enough to Jakey Memo scoring exactly on the hooter and Widdop slotting the conversion over to take it to golden point. We kind of slipped up on tries for Hull FC, but still we come from behind to have the draw away from home. Just second, actually, it's just triggered my memory about this one. I tried to watch the highlights of this, thinking that they would labour the point a bit more on all the missed drop goals. They only showed 2 of them.
I know, yeah. And I think, to be honest, they were the first 2, because say what you want about golden point and whether it's, whether we need it or not, but the only reason I paid any attention to this game really was the closeness of it, and I was round at my father-in-law's. It was his birthday, but I put the radio on for the golden point, and I wouldn't have put the radio on for the last 10 minutes of a close game, but when I knew it went to golden point, I was like, I'm listening to this. What's going to happen? And the second snide attempt was described as a flapper, and the second drop goal attempt that they showed on the footage was definitely a flapper.
Yeah, so it's the sort of thing where we're just missing a trick to promote the game. This is, and the same with last week. Why not even release the whole 10 minutes?
Yeah.
As on YouTube, release the whole thing and make a thing out of it. But I
don't know how sellable it is when we're shit at something, but but it certainly would get clicks and eyeballs and whatever the people say. Yeah. Mark Snide's dodgy left ball. Mark Snide's dodgy left boot.
That's on Cougar TV.
A very cagey first half with both teams making inroads but nothing clinical. The second half was much the same, but Jordan Lane's moments of magic and patience helped set up Hull's tries. Wire took their chances well, but Hull will have to ask questions of their D. Golden Point was torrid, with so many askew and poorly judged drop goal attempts. On balance, the draw was fair. Call back to 2017. I now understand Mark's hatred for Jake Mamo. I didn't hate him. It's just he came over here on his motorbike with his guitar and wooed lots of women, middle-aged women who had children, and then he tried to act like he was the dad of these children, but just didn't care. He didn't care for the children. But that's not this Jake Mamo. This Jake Mamo has got has got a buzz cut and a sidestep.
There we go. Let's crack on with some more views. Sarah McKenzie says, first half, Wire's possession and field position were far superior. No idea how we went in all square. Felt like a win. Second half, magnificent and much improved Lane train carved holes in their defence, only to leak 2 sloppy tries. One on the hooter. At least we have the man with the left boot to drop a goal. Oh, wait a minute.
Steve Pye said, a draw might seem a disappointment given the last second try and missed drop goal attempts, but I feel it was another small step forward. Last season we lose that game. Good effort, good defence, some well taken tries, and played Golden Point well other than the most important bit. Still plenty of room for improvement too.
Tom Andrews, what's the point of Golden Point if it ends up a draw anyway?
Gave me something to listen to on the radio. We've covered that. Neil Ormston. Thought this game might tell a lot about both teams, but probably left more questions. Dull first half, minor improvement in the second before exciting finish. Mamo's last-minute leveller warmed my P&B heart. But put me back in the doghouse as we had an outside table booked for 5 p.m. Suffered through the pointless extra time, which compounded the problem, and then had to fit when my laptop battery died at 87 minutes. 50% gained or lost? Question mark.
I think that wins fan review of the week.
Yep. Definitely. It just got more exciting as it went on, kind of like the game.
Yeah.
It was very, very symptomatic of the game, that one.
I didn't think it was going anywhere, and then suddenly the conclusion's quite exciting.
But ultimately disappointing.
Just like Cougar TV. At Mike Dodd22 said, definitely one for the purists. Strong defence on show from both sides. Nothing particularly exciting in an attacking sense. A point apiece was probably the right outcome in the end.
Joshua's granddad said, clunky from both teams with the only highlights coming from Jordan Lane. The crucial drop goal eluding both teams in a game that neither side deserved to win or to lose or win for that matter.
Just on the fan views, where's Joshua? Is he sulking?
Macca?
No, Joshua or Joshua Mackenzie. No self-appointed nicknames. We're not buying that.
I think Macca's out practicing drop goals just in case they need him, seeing as Mark Snides lost his abilities.
Yeah, get your act together, son.
You've seen the highlights, though, so what did you make from those highlights?
I mean, highlights is a loose term for this game, wasn't it? It was a very cagey game, because the problem is they spend so long showing you the taking of the penalty, they don't actually often show you the incident that led to it in the first place. with the highlights, so you don't actually have a real feel of what happened. But it did seem to be a very cagey and quite slow-paced game that sort of rose towards the end. I think the Mamo try was, he just ducked and wriggled and managed to get through. It didn't look like he had any right to score that. It's almost like he slipped, and in the process of slipping was able to wrong foot the defender.
I think it tells me why Josh Griffin's not going to get in the England squad come the end of the year. Make all the meters you want, but he got well in the wrong position for that play, and detail-led Sean Wayne will have been telling him about that.
Yeah. It's a simple thing when you're analysing something like that. Where were his hips pointing?
Yeah. It was past where he was with the ball, with his hips pointing out. It was just... Anyway, Jordan Lane getting a bit of love, though.
Yeah. Everybody's coming down the lane, as it were. It's... I think to be fair, our fan views have covered it up. It just, that there were holes in both defences, but both kind of knocked each other out. I think these two sides have started fairly okay, and I think they'll be upper end. They've got enough quality to be doing fairly well. So I don't think you're worried from that point of view. But yeah, it's not one I'll be rushing to watch back. Put it that way.
No, I think that nothing seemed to happen for nearly an hour. Then there was a couple of nice tries, and then a lot of flappers. Let's do the standings then.
Yeah, so St Helens lead a group of 4 sides on 100%, joined by Wigan, Castleford and Catalan. Hull FC are 5th with 5 points, with Warrington on 3 points. Leeds and Hull have 2 magical points. Then Huddersfield are in a group of 4 on 0, with Lee, Wakefield and Salford. We'll worry about points percentage when a game gets cancelled and when they sort out what they're doing with the draws for points on the table percent on the website.
Yeah, because I've seen, don't know about you, but I've seen 3 or 4 different incarnations of the league table every week before we had draws to contend with. The Super League website isn't right yet, is what we would say, isn't it, Tim? Stat line of the week. Danny Oughton, innit?
Yeah, mate.
85 tackles, 18 marker tackles, no missed tackles. Fucking insane. Who's your player of the week?
Oh, it's got to be Ben Crooks, isn't it?
Well, that's your highlight of the week as well, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Why not? He can have the double.
Well, I'm going a bit left field with player of the week, and I'm thinking the week as a whole. That, late call up into the England squad, then to be the dominant forward in a game that, yeah, your team lost, but still you were the best front rower on display. Mikolaj Alečky gets my player of the week. And do you know what? I struggle for a highlight of the week in terms of individual players. We probably didn't dwell on it enough in that last game. I thought Connor's try, given that it had been such a close game up to that point, nearly an hour of fuck all happening, Jordan Lane's break it showed a bit of good quick thinking from Houghton with a lucky lost ball backwards, but then a really great line by Lane. Really impressive. I thought that try was maybe conversation worthy for highlight of the week. But then I went and looked inside my heart, and what gave me the most joy this week, and it was just the all-around meltdown around whatever the referees would have come up with during that Rovers Giants game was just bringing rage from all sides. Clearly no one agrees what was right and what was wrong, what we wanted to see, other than we all think Lee Gaskell has earned the shafter. So, yeah. It's a kind of wrong highlight, as it were, but that second half was all a highlight for me. I laughed my way through it. Predictions. Me and David both went 4 out of 6 because no one ever predicts a draw, and Huddersfield. Hosts Super Brew. Scoots is on top, followed by Alan, then David, then me and you. We're down in the bottom to Tim. In the main Subaru, Craig the expat cast fan is out on top. Last year's champ Steve Pye, he wears the yellow cap this week, so well done to Steve. He's finally refinding the form of last year. Someone who never fails to refind his form from the previous year is Alan Bagley in the Fantasy League. Of course, he's top. Stuart Wood, though, top scores this week with an impressive 778, so well done to Stu.
Well done. Right, time to move on for some other results. But before we must mention, don't forget to get your fan views in for next week's game. So you can find the Google form on our website and on the socials and go from there.
Yeah, and try and compete with the journey that Neil Ormston took us on this week, because that was fantastic stuff. Okay, like you say, other results. We're into the other results then, and we're going to bring you the Women's Super League first, because it was round 1 of that competition, and we've missed it. We had a viewing that wasn't really about the games, that I think probably best to talk about in the context of talking about the games, Tim. And Fatboy Rob the Feminist, so self-appointed nickname, said, massive own goal by the RFL/Super League, both, to only have one women's game available to view, especially while they are behind closed doors and covered on season passes. The women's game was building a following with cheap ticket prices and free-to-air matches on YouTube and Facebook. All that momentum is going to be lost if they don't sort it. I think that's I don't know how much involvement Super League have in it, so I'd say it's the RFL and the clubs.
It's wholly run by the RFL, and it's managed by, they have their own general manager within the RFL setup.
They do.
Who also bizarrely is head coach of another nation's team. I never understand the conflict of interest rules that don't seem to exist in rugby league, but there we are. I think it's unfortunately is a cost issue. It's the streaming and facility to do so. It probably costs some money, amount of money which is beyond the reach of the women's game. What I don't understand is, weren't they playing 2 matches at the same place?
Well, this is the thing, and I think Rob's point is a really good one, and one we should certainly investigate a little bit more, because we all want to see, we all want to see the women's games. They have kind of a combination of the purity of the amateur game with an edge of the elite games, because there's the England guys in these games that are clearly different class, and then there's all shapes and sizes which you don't get anymore in the men's senior game, and it's fun to watch, even though we're going to get a lot of blowouts this year. But exactly like you say, there were 2 double headers, so 2 games at Wheatwood in Leeds and 2 games at Victoria Park in Warrington. So the first of the games at Warrington was filmed and streamed it was on Twitch, but it was by the R League people. It was by the RFL, the In Touch Productions or whatever they're called. So they had everything set up there to show the second game as well. I don't
and they
understand
had everybody there, yeah.
The court. I mean, they had everyone there. Yeah, maybe you can't get Tony Ray to stick around for a second game or something. I'm not sure, but
I'm sure